Hello, welcome to the Windbreakers podcast. Yahtzee here. I'm joined by Jay and Marty, and my own voice being echoed back to me, apparently.
It's not me this time.
It wasn't me.
And hope you enjoy the lovely, provocative title of today's podcast, which, of course, how could it be on anything but the Silent Hill 2 remake? Because, as regular viewers will know, Silent Hill 2 is my gaming waifu. It is basically my favorite horror game of all time. I've played it 11 billion times, and every time I've looked at even just a glimpse of footage of the remake on YouTube or Twitter or whatever in the last few months, I have felt genuinely physically sick.
Ooh.
But I've played through about an hour and a half of the remake because I don't have much time at the weekend. I got shit to do. You guys have played a bit more.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
None of us have finished the game, so I want to reserve full judgment on the remake, and let's focus on the positive with this podcast and mainly talk about why I think Silent Hill 2 is the best horror game ever.
Okay. I can dig that.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm going to say really quick. Bloober Team proved me wrong. I went in as a Bloober Team hater, and I'm coming out as a Bloober believer.
Agreed. I'm about halfway. I'm like 9 hours in.
Well, it's easy to copy someone else's homework, isn't it?
Yeah, but you could copy homework poorly, or you could copy it well. And I think they copied it well.
Okay, let's talk briefly about the remake.
Okay.
What we've seen of the remake. Because the remake starts, at the very start, almost shot for shot.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly the same as the original, albeit with the behind the camera, behind the protagonist's camera.
Yeah.
I was with the first scene where you go into the graveyard and meet Angela. I was mouthing along with the dialogue because I've heard it so many times, and it was basically identical. One slight change though, and I'm going to be atrocious enough to explain what it is. In the original, there's an exchange in the conversation that goes, "The town, there's something wrong with it. Is it dangerous? Maybe, and it's not just the town either." That exchange has been changed to, "The town, there's something wrong with it, and it's not just the town either. Is it dangerous?" Now, I don't know why they felt the need to make that small change. Maybe they thought it sounded more naturalistic that way.
Yeah, organic.
Although it feels weird to copy-paste the entire scene and the entire game up to that point and just make that one weird change.
Yeah.
But then I get to the end of the forest walk, and then there's a locked door, and I have to go into a nearby building to collect a key, and that's not in the original, so it's ruined. It's ruined forever.
So this is the perspective that I had because we were speaking about this beforehand. So I played is generous. I played Silent Hill 2 when I was a kid over a friend's house, but we didn't get past the apartment, so I wouldn't say we properly played it.
You know,
but I can't
hear
remember
that a lot.
of it.
I hear that a lot from Silent Hill 2 players. A lot of people stop at the apartments because it's a bit of a speed bump right at the start of the game.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get to the end of the apartments, that's basically where the game has hooked you, if you can get that far.
That is pretty much, like, not to speak too much on the remake, but that is pretty much exactly what happened.
Yeah, because the initial chapter of the game, where you first get to the town, you're basically left to free roam for a bit. It's like you're on the outer rim of the toilet bowl, so like going around this big wide expanse. And then as you proceed through the game, the circle you're making gets smaller and smaller until you go right down the plug hole.
What's the turd?
Yeah, yes.
In this metaphorical toilet, what's the turd?
Yes.
Is it Pyramid Head?
No, the hotel. The hotel is the turd in this metaphor. So yes, some people get lost in the first part, and I assume some people will get more lost in the remake because they added a whole bunch of extra pointless bullshit puzzles, and that's why I'm initially, even after having only played the first hour of the game and only gotten as far as the apartment complex, I'm a little bit mad.
As someone who's accidentally broken several vinyl records before, I'm a big fan of helping people glue their vinyl records together, which I'm going to be honest, I do not think would play anymore. I do not think if you snap a vinyl record in half and then you super glue it together, I don't think that thing's still going to play any Akira Yamaoka tunes.
I tell you what, it wasn't the record, it was specifically the coin that pissed me off. I found the record.
The cash registers at any of the stores until the one.
I know. I'd sold everything.
Okay, so is that puzzle's new?
I hadn't found the fucking coin. I needed a coin put into the jukebox. And I was like, I've passed like 19,000 fucking cash registers, 19,000 fucking parking meters and payphones I could have smashed open with my big stick. What? I know the fucking memo said the dude stopped off at the Cafe Texan. Why would I assume that to mean there's a coin there? I went to the fucking market. I solved the puzzle to open the door to get into the market because I assumed a market would be the place that would have coins in the cash register, a place where trading is supposed to occur.
But you need a specific unit. You don't get a coin like a quarter. You get a coin that's like a coin of the bar. That's like apparently the jukebox only takes bespoke coins, which is not how jukeboxes work.
What the fuck kind of tiny
it's a nightmare town?
It has bespoke coins for its fucking jukebox. It's not a fucking Chuck E. Cheese.
A lot of the puzzles that I've done in that game, the jukebox one was the first one when I was like, well, this is a really shit puzzle, but this is a remake of a very old game, so I'll forgive it. And you're telling me that's new?
It's new.
Why did they add something that's bad?
It's not bad. What is that bad? It's an little adventure game puzzle.
That was the question running through my mind as I got through that segment. But you know what? I'll put my hands up to this. There's a lot of nostalgia talking here. The original game also had a lot of bullshit inventory puzzles.
I
don't see the point in
adding more history.
I don't see the point of adding more bullshit inventory puzzles, but like the old game isn't, completely beyond the pale. Beyond the pale, Bill.
Nah.
Got its own jank.
At least the acting isn't garbage anymore. Am I allowed to say that the acting is garbage in the original? And I know it's supposed to be garbage, but the garbage doesn't work on me.
Well, that's, even as I say it, it feels like a bullshit argument, but, the slightly dodgy voice acting was a sort of an accidental boon of the original game because it made the game feel more unworldly.
Yeah.
And I don't have a leg to stand on because I love Twin Peaks and David Lynch, and I defend Twin Peaks, some shoddy acting in that as like, it's purposeful. I'm like, oh, no, it's not. But yes. That was a little tidbit and a little amuse-bouche of our thoughts on the remake, which I'm sure we'll have more of.
Yes, I got it out of my system now. As I said, I've only got a Stars Department building. That there's a whole lot more game to get through. Yeah. You'll have my full thoughts in my eventual fully rambematic review. But let's focus on, as I say, the positive. Why did I like Silent Hill 2, the original, so much?
Tell us.
And I guess we've hit upon a couple of points there. It's legendarily atmospheric and depressive.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to go back to the first time I ever played it. I think I rented it from a Blockbuster Video, which should tell you how long ago this was.
Was it, do you think it was like around when it came out? Because that fall 2001 was kind of legendary in my mind for games.
No, it had been out for a few years when I first played it.
Okay.
And, I wasn't aware of, I had a PlayStation 2 and I just rented random stuff from the local Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
And I played Silent Hill 1 on the PlayStation 1 back in the day, and, I enjoyed it. It's a bit cheesy, but, fun, nice imagery. So I went into Silent Hill 2 completely, raw, and with the plot twist completely unspoiled.
It's rare.
And what I experienced was something that is masterful on the first playthrough and genius on the second.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first playthrough, you assume it's just nondescript. Every man is lured into a haunted town, a place where he shouldn't be. It's the standard, hey, man, there are some things man should not what of, sort of plot that Lovecraftian horror often toys with. And then it turns out at the end, actually, spoiler alert. Yeah, I should probably say that up front here. We're probably going to be spoiling the plot twist of Silent Hill 2, possibly accidentally. I'm very passionate about this sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know the twist of Silent Hill 2, maybe skip this one, play the remake, let me know how you feel.
If the remake changes anything, we're not able to spoil it because we haven't gotten to the end of remake yet. So
I don't think they would dare change anything to do.
As long as I still get my dog ending, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
I assume there's a dog ending. I mean, that's one of the original things that the game has added, and that's when you start the game, it asks you if you want to wear a stupid hat through the course of the game.
I think that's because we had we bought the deluxe versions to play early.
Oh, yes, naturally.
Yeah.
But very massive eye roll when I saw that. But yeah, so you get this really atmospheric, surreal experience. You don't know what the fuck. And then at the end, it turns out, what we've been going through is actually the subconscious of the main character working at himself. That's like the really impressive thing is that it sort of defies the standard narrative of we're being victimized by some outside otherworldly force. It's entirely coming from within, and it's such a small personal story with such a small core cast of characters in comparison to something cheesy like the original, where it's a cult trying to destroy the world.
And would you say that kind of revelation at the end is what kind of informed your enjoyment of the second playthrough? And do you think that's one of the reasons it's so vivid in your memory and like you're so fond of it because of that?
I remember when I watched the video at the end of Silent Hill 2 that reveals the twist, I said aloud, James, man, what did you do?
I say that all the time at work.
First time I saw that.
Yep.
Yeah. Sort of with a sort of
I say it to myself
in a sort of tone of breathy disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next playthrough is even better. Like I've said in my video, in my extra punctuation, or was it semi-emblematic? One of those about twist endings. The best twist endings recontextualize the plot and mean you can have 2 games for the price of 1. Because the second playthrough, knowing the twist, gives it a whole extra, subtext.
And that was something, again, putting yourself back in 2001 or whenever you played the game. A lot of games didn't have that very often. Games had endings. Some of them had cool endings, but the endings rarely, like you didn't finish Super Metroid or Castlevania and were like, man, I'm going to go back and everything's going to feel so different knowing what I know now. This was very ahead of its time for the early days of the PS2. That's something that I think folks might take for granted now that, a ton of indie games do that.
Yeah. I mean, because the whole reason Silent Hill games have the fog is because it was a measure to be able to have very high level for the time 3D graphics running on the running on the console that it was on, because the low visibility meant it didn't weigh so heavily on the processor.
Yeah, I think that's another thing about the game that really sticks out to me is just it felt like it was again, like a lot of those 2001 games of Metal Gear Solid 2 and Final Fantasy X and Eco and Tony Hawk 3, even Halo, that they all felt like they were pushing their respective genres forward a massive leap that we just don't really get anymore. And I think that's one of the reasons why it was almost like Silent Hill 2 is one of those like, oh, you can do this in games.
For a split second there, I thought you were still talking about twists, and I was like, what fucking twist did Tony Hawk 3 have?
Fucking kickflip Mick twist, am I right?
Yes. Yeah. It's when you turn around very fast in midair. No, I mean, Silent Hill 2, it was technologically ahead of its time. It was so beautifully focused. Everything from the visual design to the sound design sort of points towards its core themes and its core plot twist. So not a huge surprise that Bluebird Team have basically copy-pasted both the monster design and the sound design. At least they haven't messed it up, but I'm not sure how many, as I said, I'm not sure how many points you get for copying someone else's homework.
You're mad at them copying, and then you're mad at them slightly changing the dialogue. You can't be mad at both of them. You can be mad at one of them.
I can absolutely be mad at everything because I'm
mad at them adding puzzles. I don't understand that. I'm
a fundamentally very mad person.
It's true.
So one of the core things in the original game, James is despite the wife killing, he's an everyman, and that comes across in the combat. The combat is cumbersome. Unwieldy. Like, James is not a warrior. James seemingly has never fired a gun before. James's swings with the 2x4 or the pipe or whatever are kind of clumsy. And that is purposeful. And there's always a kind of a debate over, the bad controls of Resident Evil that adds to the horror. How do you feel about that? How do you feel like, do you think that sort of clumsiness is a purposeful design decision that works well? Or is that something that almost like we are retconning in our heads?
The clumsy combat it does feel like a very survival horror thing. That was it's very much part of the atmosphere of a specific kind of horror game that you're supposed to feel like you're on the back foot. Not always in horror. Resident Evil 4 is a game where you can feel powerful, and there's also horror as well. But Silent Hill 2 specifically, yes, you are just an everyman, and you're not a combat powerhouse. I will say, I think the combat in the remake so far does feel like it captures the spirit of being desperate and unqualified. The way James just goes to town on the dudes.
I agree with the animations. I will say though that I can't speak to the original, but with the remake, I don't feel underpowered. I don't think I've been scared playing it once. Like it's very easy to fight the monsters and know their attack patterns and just fight them with the pipe or the wood, which meant I could hoard ammo, which meant there was a point where I've filmed this. I've got like 90 bullets or something, and I'm like, if something's a bit of a challenge, I'll just unload into its chest and it'll die, and I'll still have bullets to spare. So I'm never scared. And like for me, the most interesting part is the puzzles and the exploration and the narrative. And every time I saw an enemy, I was just like, for fuck's sake, like I've got to deal with this and then move forward, rather than feeling weak and scared.
No, it was the case in the original that there was sort of an overabundance of items. I mean, there's a bit in the hotel at the end where you pick up like literally 6 health drinks in one room.
Yeah, I don't know if I think in some games, obviously, the survival is part of the horror. I don't think that's Silent Hill 2. I think Silent Hill 4, the survival is part of the horror. But in Silent Hill 2, playing through the original, playing through the 360 remasters or whatever, and then playing through this, never feels like Resi or Amnesia or like early Resi or Amnesia or Silent Hill 4, where like I need to conserve this. It's mostly the horror is experiencing the story, experiencing the world.
Again, it's hard to say how intentional this was, but the point of Silent Hill 2 is not that you are trying to survive against a desperate situation. The point is that the villain is you. You are your own worst enemy. The smart thing to do would be to turn around and piss off and go home. But James won't, because James is his own worst enemy. And it doesn't matter how much ammo you've got, how many monsters you kill, how far you get through the town. All you're doing is getting closer and closer to your own downfall.
Yeah.
That's what it's all conveying.
I feel that for sure. Like, it does such a great job of narratively hooking you to the point where, like, I am unfortunate in the sense that I know the twist, as most people do nowadays. It's extremely popular and well known. But there's such an enjoyment of me reading every single note and like listening to the NPCs and the characters and trying to understand that underlining like meaning. And that is like a huge part of the enjoyment for me of why I'm enjoying it. Like the hospital, every single note that I read, I was like, how can I connect this to James and his psyche and like his experiences and stuff like that? And that's super, super entertaining. And for me, the combat just got in the way of that, especially because all the enemies, like there are, at the point I am in the game, there are 3 variations of enemies, and not including the bugs you can stamp on. And I'm just like, let me read stuff, let me do these puzzles, let me explore, rather than just killing, just legs 4 times in a row.
I love legs. I love the legs. There's legs on top. Oops, all legs.
The mannequins, they're called. The first monster that you find is called the Lying Figure, if you're interested.
Okay. And what does that represent? Is that like body bag?
The legs on top of legs? Oh, the body. The lying figures represent sickness and depression.
Okay. And the legs, I know what the legs represent.
Yeah. Because, I don't know how au fait you are with the twist, but the twist is that Mary's dead and James euthanized her because she was very sick. And the lying figures represent sickness and being, suffocated.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I think I'd be very interested.
Did James do the wrong thing?
Well, that's the part of the nuance nature of the story, I suppose. I mean, it's the sort of situation where he's not an out-and-out bad guy, but you can sort of see why he's tormenting himself. You sort of say, yeah, I probably would be tormenting myself over that.
I think there's better ways. I think his heart was in the right place. The suffocation seems that's a little much.
Yeah, I think the fact is that he euthanized her without really clearing it with her first.
Sure,
yeah.
Because I think deep down, James, like, on one level, he was telling himself it was for her good, or on another level, he was just sick of having to deal with her. That's why there's so many sexy monsters, because he was sexually frustrated and he wanted his life back. That's sort of the dark side of James.
And the bosses represent stuff as well, right? Like, obviously, Pyramid Head.
Pyramid Head represents aggressive masculinity, and that's why he's constantly seen brutalizing all the standard enemies that all represent femininity in some way.
And what does the box with the mouth arse represent?
The box with the mouth arse. I think that's another sort of...
It's called like the lip thing or something. Like,
it represents a hospital bed, which...
that's the thing that's hanging from the ceiling, right?
Yes, it's another thing that relates to James's experiences with his ill wife.
Who's more in the wrong, James or Joel from The Last of Us after part 1?
Oh, Joel. 100%. He's in the wrong. Absolutely.
I guess that James didn't smother away a cure for a disease.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd be very interested to hear the perspective of someone who played through the remake without knowing the twist. Although I understand such people will probably be rare. Like people who watched Terminator 2 without knowing that Arnie was supposed to be the good guy this time.
Yeah, well, there's no one in this chat.
Anymore.
Yeah,
you're asking for it, and they've just heard us talk about it.
There's no one in any of our chats because we've talked about this twist a million times, right?
Yeah.
For me, it's not the fact that the combat is less clumsy in the remake, arguably. It's the camera that changes that for me.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah, because the part of the experience of the original Silent Hill 2 is that James is his own character, and you're the slightly loosey-goosey pseudo chase camera feels more like you're an entity looking down at him.
Yeah.
Like there's bits in the forest walk at the beginning where we watch James from an angle where there's a line of trees between you and him. So we're sort of taking the perspective of something watching him from the forest. And just gluing the camera to his bum sort of it makes the experience more immersive. But that might not necessarily be what you want, because in the end, the core of the experience is the divide between the player and the player character. When you finally, like at first, it's just like, oh, we're just an everyman, we're just going along saving him from the horror. And then by the end of it, you realize that you never really knew who James was.
See, the camera is such an interesting thing, and we've spoken about this before, Yahtzee, and it's something I want to talk about in my next design delve.
Well, join the queue, because I'm going to do a semi-problematic about it as well.
I'll be talking about lots of things. Yours will be way more focused than mine. But it changes everything. Like, it changes how you contextualize and introduce combat, how you do scares, how you like get the player to navigate through the world. They would have had to have redesigned a lot of stuff just to allow it so you have a third-person camera. I think it does some wonderful things. I think it makes things a lot better, but in some, it does them worse.
I mean, we've Yahtzee and I have argued about this, I think, on this show or slightly something else or something in the past. How I'm still a firm believer that like the best medium for horror is movies. Because there's like there's like a true authorship there, and there is a true I am in control of everything you are seeing and hearing, and you can't do anything but experience it. Whereas in games, I notice when I'm playing Silent Hill 2, especially the remake, especially because with that original camera, there does feel like a bit of like intentionality to it, especially even in the first game, right from the get-go, with those weird Dutch angles and like the sort of the nauseous camera movements of the alleyway. Whereas when I'm playing remake, I am such like a twitchy gamer that like my fingers I'm just constantly moving the camera. I'm like, oh, what's going on there? What's going on here? Oh, what's around that corner? Like, and it's if anyone was watching it, and people were watching as I was streaming yesterday, like I can't imagine that's scary at all. Like, because I am so like neurotic with how I'm moving the camera when I enter a new room, and I feel like giving you that control loses some of that horror.
Yeah, I'm going to continue contending that video games are the best medium for horror, or at least possibly the easiest medium for horror, because you don't have to waste time getting the player invested in the struggles of the main character because they're automatically invested. They have to save the main character to be able to see the rest of the game. But also the sense of being a party to your own torment. I mean, Silent Hill 2 is a big part of the reason why I think video games are the best medium for horror, because it's you, as Radiohead once sung, you do it to yourself, badow, and that's what really hurts.
Yeah, that's something I think. I get where you're coming from, Marty, and I think I half agree with you and I half agree with Yahtzee in the sense of, in movies, you are along for the ride and you are at the behest of the artist and their motions. But within games, say you're watching a horror movie, right? If something scary is coming, you can cover your eyes or look away, something like that, right? But in games, you have to actively participate and do that thing yourself. So if there's something intimidating, you have to force yourself to do it, and then the reaction to that thing isn't a passive wait for the person to die, wait for the thing to happen. It's I have to react, I have to run or attack or shit myself. And I think there's pros and cons to both, for sure.
Oh, I agree. There's still, I mean, it's in the original and even in this remake, it's that the moment still works for me in the apartment building where you turn the corner and you see across the bar as Pyramid Head's just standing there, and like you can approach him. It's scary. It's scary. I don't want to do it when I was fucking 15 on PS2, and I didn't want to do it last night. Like that part, like walk up to him. It's still like a scary thing that you have to be like, well, fucking, I have to walk close to him.
Actually, you know what made my eyes roll was picking up the flashlight. Because in the original, you pick up the flashlight and it illuminates the first mannequin enemy that you didn't realize was standing behind it. And in the remake, they added a jump scare sting.
Yeah.
Like a little, like, bow, when the mannequin comes to life. And I rolled my eyes. Because, of course, Silent Hill 2, the remake, the original, has basically no jump scares. And that's part of why it feels so masterful from a horror perspective. Because jump scares feels like a crutch.
Yeah. Does it not have any jump scares in the original?
Well, there's one, but you have to go looking for it. In the prison, right? There's a toilet, and if you go to one of the cubicles and interact with it, James knocks on it. And if you walk away, then nothing happens. If you knock on it a second time, and then walk away from it, you hear the sound of something hurling itself against the other side of the door.
Oh.
And that's the only jump scare in Silent Hill 2.
The first game has a similar one in the locker room in the school, right? There's
Silent Hill 1's got jump scares. It's got jump scares for days. Silent Hill 2,
we're restrained.
It's only got that one that's really hard to find. It just builds its atmosphere through a sense of dread and depression, not from sudden shocks.
Yeah. Well, I also think that the medium it's in has its own advantages with that forced camera perspective. Super Eyepatch Wolf did a wonderful video on Junji Ito and his horror mangas, and they speak about the idea of the act of reading a book or specifically a manga is that the horror or the reveal of something terrible can happen on a page turn. So you have that suspense as you turn it over. And for me, the forced camera perspective and it ever changing per room and stuff like that is in effect a page turn. You can build suspense and then have that explosion of excitement and fear from it being revealed to an environment all in one go and having to scan and look and just make sense of it. And the visuals of Silent Hill 2 really lend themselves to that because you're constantly going, what the fuck am I looking at? Like, what is this?
Oh, do you know the scary face in Silent Hill 4?
Oh, the big head in the room. I missed it. Oh, I missed it last year.
There's one room in Silent Hill 4, like one room you have no reason to go into, like surrounded by
clearly missable because I missed it.
Where if you walk into the room, when you first walk in, the camera's pointing directly at you. So it's just you standing with the door behind you, looking stupid, as one tends to do in Silent Hill 4. Then you walk forward a few steps, and yes, that's the camera just switches around, and that's what you see. Thank you, Eric, for bringing that up.
Oh my god!
That's That's the face of your main support NPC, just sort of there with eyeballs vibrating and staring at you.
And it can't hurt you. Like it's not like an enemy or anything.
It can't hurt you. You can't interact with it at all. It's just there.
Yeah.
It doesn't animate.
10 bells.
Besides the eyes vibrating, it's very 10 bells. Or 10 bells is very
10 bells is very that, yeah.
It's funny you mentioned the manga thing, Jay, because I just had, without going to spoilers, last night I'm reading through Chainsaw Man. Because I watched the anime and now I'm like, I want to know what happens next. Yep. And I got to this point, and I absolutely won't spoil it for anyone. It's near the first part, so like it's around like issue like 80 or something, and like all of a sudden the puzzle pieces fell into place, and I knew like what the real threat was. And there's this like slow moment, and I'm watching. I'm on my iPad flipping each page, and I'm like, I know what's going to happen next, and I do not want to go to the next page. And I like literally put it down for a bit, and I like made myself a drink, and then I came back and I flipped one more time, and I'm like, oh god damn it, why is this happening? Like
that's what horror is, right? And the fact that games, movies, and like manga and books all have to tackle that feeling in a different way is so beautiful, and like that's art to me. And being able to see those threads of like, oh well, in Silent Hill 2, the original, how they've utilized the camera is in effect how they manage that, and that's stunning to me. Like, I think that's beautiful.
Well, I think the super chats are ready to get in on this argument.
I will say the most important thing is the only good thing to come out of those terrible HD remasters from like the 2013 was the Comic Sans font on the ranch sign, and they hid that sign. It is like a little sneaky thing that they hid.
I wondered if they were going to do that. I remember looking up at the Silent Hill Ranch sign in the remake and thinking, well, at least they changed the copies, the Comic Sans back.
It's like if you what's not sequence break? What is it called? Where you break through like the wall, use a free cam to break. If you clip through the wall of the ranch, you could see the Silent Hill Ranch sign is there on the ground.
Well, you can't say that in a sense of humor. I mean, that's presumably why the medium ended with gunshot cut to black.
The medium. See, my thing is, we were understandably skeptical of this remake going in, and no matter what you think
because the medium sucked balls, and all their other games have been fucking walking symbolic.
Yeah, the Blair Witch game was really bad. Yeah.
But as I say, it's easy to copy someone else's homework.
I think it is, because what if you have to like look over and squint, and what if you get caught? I think copying homework is harder than you're giving credit.
Especially when you're translating it into a different, if like the fact they've changed the camera is like such a huge deal. Like it seems like a tiny thing, but it's absolutely
like the Resi 2 remake, right? Of like,
Also, why do all of these remakes look the same? Like Resi 2, Resi 3, this.
Why is everything RE4 now?
Blame RE4. You love RE4. Yes. Blame RE4.
I know. I like different. I don't want to read the same fucking book every fucking night.
Yeah. Someone needs to change the wheel, reinvent the wheel again.
Let a horror game go on long enough. Sooner or later, it gravitates to Resident Evil 4. It's like fucking crabs.
Before we start with Soup Chats, we got a very nice dono through Ko-Fi from Lurchables. Thank you so much for the dono on Ko-Fi, Lurchables. My friend and I played the original Silent Hill 2 in the freezing cold of my parents' conservatory when we were teenagers. Minds were blown when we kept going down holes. There was a hole here. It's one of my favorite gaming memories. My buddy died when he was just 19. Dono for WB in memory of Daniel. Hell yeah.
Rest in peace, dude.
Yeah, rest in peace. But that's great. I'm glad you have that. This is such a game that is great to experience by yourself, but I can also imagine if you play through it side by side with a pal.
Yeah.
Good spookies.
Let me just reiterate before we go into Super Chats proper that none of us have played very far into the Silent Hill 2 remake. We're reserving judgment, full review further down the line. So, it might completely blow our minds by the end. Who's to say?
Do you think they included what was it called? Make a wish, like a wish, from a wish, born
from a wish. That was the extra chapter that got added for the Silent Hill 2 re-release on PS2, where you played as Maria.
Yeah. Do you think that's in the game?
Well, it's a natural DLC edition, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
But anyway, Dr. Theo gives $5 and says, "This town is full of pizza. How can you sit there and eat monsters?" Which is a clever joke referencing the original game's dialogue.
Yeah. I haven't gotten to the bowling alley yet. I haven't seen the pizza. Did you get to the pizza, Jay? Does the pizza look good?
Pizza, no, I haven't seen him eat that pizza.
If they remove him
I've
eating
seen
that
pizza, there's lots of pizza.
I'm sure the pizza will be there.
Yeah.
Yahtzee will wear a green hat in 9 weeks, gives €2 and says, Oktoberfest here in Stuttgart. Yes, in October. Crazy.
I thought
Good on you.
Oktoberfest was in September.
That makes no sense.
And somebody educate us on Oktoberfest.
It's a German festival that the Americans have co-opted, where you drink beer and eat sausages a lot.
Classic Americans.
Yeah, I went to an Oktoberfest celebration at a local place, but I've always thought it takes place in a not October.
Yeah, I always thought it was September.
I'm not an expert on the subject.
Certainly,
I never really celebrated Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Andrew Higginbottom, member for 8 months in the Green Gang, says Silent Hill 2 remake needs crafting and loot boxes! ! ! ! ! ! 111, because I think he's just trying to get a rise out of us now.
I'm glad there's no crafting. In a world, this game has crafting.
I presume that's why it's gotten such a positive reception from people who haven't played the originals. Like, oh my goodness, a game that doesn't have crafting in it. Yeah, that's the original. You're welcome.
I found myself, as soon as I realized that I could just break windows and car windows, I went to break every window in the city.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, I'm like, I wish there was more stuff to grab. And then I had to be like, no, you don't wish there was more stuff to grab, because it would just be fucking crafting items. You're happy that there's not a lot of stuff to grab. Just enjoy breaking windows because it's fun being a vandal.
Yes, running around Silent Hill smashing windows is something that I'm also probably going to bring up in my upcoming review as to how it kind of goes against the tone.
Well,
listen, it's your choice to smash windows. You don't have to smash windows.
Yeah, but sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. It's like, oh, here's your skill and freedom to smash through weak walls and windows. Oh, but not those ones. All those ones. All those. I'm like, vermicillitude, you bastards.
Siguru 2000 gives €2 and says the Jeff section from Half-Life Alyx was clearly better.
That's not an entire horror game. That's a horror section in another game, like Raven.
Yeah, where they keep undermining the horror by having characters take the piss out of it.
Jeff, that's also the I haven't played Alyx, but that's the thing that like can't see, can only hear, and you need to
yeah,
and it's
one of those things.
You have to complete puzzles while it's stalking you.
Yeah,
very good. That game in general is just very good.
Yeah, they're pretty good at making games.
Yeah, funny that. Alex Armstrong AXA gives $2 and says, glad you like the Belinda and Magoo fan art, Yahtzee. Yeah, this deserves some context. Someone posted some Starstruck Vagabond fan art on Twitter and on one of the Discord channels, commissioned fan art, where the two of the female characters were drawn with absurdly large bosoms.
Hell yeah, brother.
Out of some fetish thing, I assume. And I retweeted it saying, blimey, this never happened with my Trilby games.
Is it the first character you've created that's gotten Rule 34?
Oh no, I've had plenty of my shit Rule 34 in the past.
You're trying to like will Trilby fan art.
Honestly, I was kind of gratified that I put waifus in my game and people treat them like they should treat waifus.
Yeah.
With weird perversion.
Do you think people are going to horn up Metaphor ReFantazio?
It's a hard game to horn up, as we've discussed in private.
Yeah. That makes it sound weird.
It also makes it sound even weirder because I was there as well.
3-hour horny meeting with the boys.
Well, considering, Persona has never had a bathhouse scene where you didn't perv on the girls in some respect, it's surprising how unhorny Metaphor ReFantazio is. I mean, there's a fairy character with who's got like legs going all the way up to her bum, and the first female party member wears very, very tight leggings, and that's about it for horn.
Yeah, those are just combat leggings.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Anyway, far less than too many frogs gives $5 and says, apologies to Marty for changing my name 3 weeks ago. Now I'll go make sun catchers in peace.
Beautiful. So many frogs.
Wait, who is that?
It's far less than
I think that's Rose Delta going by the avatar.
Rose Delta.
Now far less
wild
than 20
name
frogs.
change.
I love it.
Celebriel gives $9.99 and says, can't watch this live, but I'll put money on Yahtzee's verdict on the remake to be like his RE4 make opinion. It's better objectively, but by making it so they sanded off the edges that made it unique.
I don't think
exactly. Everything's just
objectively though.
Everything's just gravitating back to the Resident Evil 4 homogeneity, as we said.
Yeah.
And I kind of hate that.
I said it should be federal law. I guess more than federal, global law. Like a commandment that if you're going to make a remake of a game, you need to include a perfect emulation of the original on that version.
I
like that.
Like how in Day of the Tentacle, there's a computer where you can play the original Maniac Mansion.
Yeah, see, I like that.
Yeah, imagine if James got to the reveal, and you put the tape in.
You had to play through Silent Hill 2.
The reveal, you're just playing the original.
Yeah.
Boy, this game seems really on the nose. Pirate Captain Jack gives $5 and says, Yahtzee, you fork-tongued sidewinder. Just explain as succinctly as possible. Does it hold well right now? I am absolutely not to be trusted with an opinion in that area, Pirate Captain Jack. I am nostalgia blinded up the bum.
Are you a forked-tongued sidewinder?
You need to find someone who's never played the original and has played the remake, and you need to get them to play the original and ask them what they think.
Now, Jay, you're going to play the original.
That's basically me.
You're going to have to jam through the original.
I am like for my video, I'm going through the remake and the original. So, but I'm going remake first, which is a weird way about it. But
good. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Do you think the upcoming Silent Hill 2 movie is going to be bad?
Yes.
Yes.
I also agree, yes.
How could it not be?
It is the director of the first Silent Hill movie coming back.
Which was bad, yes.
Which was bad. But if it's silent at a bar, good production design. I like the way the movie looks. Everything about the script is bad. But he's coming back because the second Silent Hill movie famously is more of a Silent Hill 3 movie with a little bit of Kit Harington in it. Kit Harington and Sean Bean.
Yeah, Sean Bean. Harington, yeah. Sean Bean should have been the casting for James Sunderland.
Yeah, he would have been.
And now they've used him up. They can't have him back now.
Classic Sean Bean.
No. Sean Bean should have been Mary because he always dies in his movies.
No.
It's all right. Just get the in-water ending. Whoops, spoilers.
Whoopsies.
No, Alex Armstrong AXA comes back with $5 and says, no thoughts for today's topic except this. Yachts, any advice for those wanting to give the OG Western titles a try, even though they'll never be as good? Play Shattered Memories. That's about the only one that's worth a go, I'd say. I've seen the problem with all the Western Silent Hills is that they all try to recapture Silent Hill 2. It's all, hey, the person we're looking for died and we killed them.
Yeah.
Well, Downpour's not quite so much that, but it's still like playing into the hey, our dude's a murderer thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of Downpour, so I rewatched Silent Hill Revelation the other day, which is the second Silent Hill movie that's mostly an adaptation of Silent Hill 3. And at the end, the characters leave Silent Hill and they're hitchhiking and they get picked up by a truck driver, Travis Green.
Oh.
And it's like, ooh, you're hinting at what the sequel is going to be. The truck drives away, and then passing the truck is a prison transport driving into the city. And I'm like, you can't tease two separate sequels in the last 20 seconds of your movie. Like, you can't do that.
Just in case.
That'd be legal.
Travis Grady from Silent Hill Origins is the trucker protagonist. He also appears at the start of Silent Hill Homecoming. Fact, fans.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, he drops off the main character in Shepherd's Glen. Don't mess with me on Silent Hill trivia.
Would never.
The only thing I don't know anything about is Silent Hill Revelation, the movie, or the Silent Hill arcade game.
Okay.
Or the fucking PS Vita one. That shit's bollocks.
Like a 30 hours dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
What's up with that dude's face?
That's Silent Hill Homecoming. It was bad.
I can tell.
Denmark gives $2 and says this SH2 remake is going to be reload for Yahtzee.
Denmark was spiritually harmed by Persona 3 Reload.
Oh, I see.
Too close to the original, so
I never really played the original, so I have no. Perhaps I can be what Jay is to me, to you, Denmark.
There you go.
I heard you can't control your party members in the original Persona 3, though. That sounds fucked.
That's absolutely fucked.
What the fuck?
Yeah, your party members are kind of just like AI controlled, and it wasn't
like a turn-based JRPG sin. That's great.
Yeah, and they'll be like, okay, the enemy has like 10 hit points left, and they'll be like, you know what I'll do? I'll use a status buff. And it's like, why don't you hit him? Why don't you hit him and end the battle? That'd be nice.
It's even like I was playing Dokapon Kingdom with some friends, and like even having one CPU as a player is painful. Just like watching them go through their turns and stuff. It's just
I can't imagine. Yeah.
You know, it kind of bugs me that they didn't like add the word reload or remake to the end of the Silent Hill 2 remake title. And it double bugs me that on the Steam list it's all capitalized. I'm like, what fucking brazen self-importance you have, Bloober Team.
Is it not called Silent Hill 2 remake?
No, on the Steam list it's just Silent Hill 2. And on the title screen it's just Silent Hill 2. There's no mention of remake anywhere.
Call it Silent Hill 2 Euthanasia.
Silent Hill 2, my wife, Borat voice.
My wife. Where's my wife? Whoops.
Where's my wife? Sir Goodwill gives 11.99 PLNs and says, "Thank you, Marty Jermaine Yards. I love this podcast.
I love you.
We love you, Sir Goodwill."
Oh my gosh.
Straight up.
Dale Mellows gives $2 and says, "My daughter says hello to the dogs."
I don't see Yahtzee.
Ludo.
I see Ludo. Yeah, this is a rare non-toffee stream.
Yeah,
Ludo has our booty rocking shorts on.
Whoa!
Check it out. Look,
behind a cushion, having a sleep.
Everyone's waking up their dogs.
Come
on. Oh, Ludo.
Look at Ludo. She's wearing shorts.
That's humans. That's what humans do.
Has Ludo been piddling on things?
No, she's in heat, so she's too much information. She's bleeding, so she has her shorts on, so she doesn't do that everywhere.
Is she not fixed?
No, not yet.
There's a dog. There's a dog I run into on my walks now and then who's like this little corgi. And every time we walk past them, Toffee goes nuts. Like, he usually goes nuts when he sees other dogs, but in this case, even more so. He particularly goes nuts for this dog. At one point, I ran into the dog's owner, like outside of a dog walking context. I think they were running a garage sale or something. And we got to talking, and he mentioned that, that seems to happen a lot because our dog isn't fixed.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the dogs were just in love.
Dogs are very, very interested in Ludo when she's in heat, but she wears her booty rocking shorts. She's all good.
Beautiful.
Cobalt777 gives $2 and says, "Yahtzee, did you ever play the Sly Cooper games?" Nope. The first game by Sucker Punch I played was Infamous, but I did think those games were very good.
Sucker Punch made a good game called Rocket on Wheels, I think. It was a game for the N64. Like a colorful little platformer with like a little dude who had wheels. It's pretty good.
Huh. Well. Yeah. Sovereign gives €10 and says, "Since I know this will come up, OG Silent Hill 2 director has said recently that he hated having to use fixed cameras in Silent Hill 2 and much prefers the over-the-shoulder camera. Make of this what you will." Yeah, I'm sure the voice actors were trying not to sound stilted and awkward as well. Sometimes these happy accidents occur.
Also, you can hate the process of making something, but make something good as well.
Yeah, apparently everyone was having a miserable time on the sets of Apocalypse Now and Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
And The Shining.
The Shining. Well, one particular person was having a miserable time on the set of The Shining.
Catman
Brothers. Don't say that. I got told off last time in the comments. Can't say anything bad about Stanley
Shelley Duvall had an amazing time. Loved it.
Alex Armstrong, AXA, comes back with $5. Didn't you say you had nothing to add this week, Alex Armstrong? You've been giving a lot of super chat to someone with nothing to add. You like stealth games? Try Stealth, all caps. A $2 top-down speedrunning tactics game at its core elements. A dot, nicking stars, and sneaking past guard dots. Isn't that just Pac-Man, Alex Armstrong?
It literally sounds like Pac-Man.
I mean, I like a bit of context.
Yeah, hello.
That is insane. A top-down speedrunning tactics game at its core elements, a dot nicking stars and sneaking past. That is literally Pac-Man. Oh, it looks like Pac-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Dale Mallows gives $2 and says, "Loving Will Save the Galaxy for Good. Thumbs up. Will Save the Galaxy for Food, rather. Thumbs up. I was confused with the third book in the trilogy, Will Leave the Galaxy for Good, which you should also check out along with the second book in the trilogy, Will Destroy the Galaxy for Cash. It's a complete trilogy that's all done now. No more sequels, so now's the time to buy them all.
Do you think you'll ever make a legacy sequel 30 years from now?
Nope. Never look back. That's my motto. I got it. I got that written on a post-it note on my rearview mirror in my car.
No, it's dangerous. You're gonna hit someone.
Pirate Captain Jack gives $5 and says, the Leave ending of Silent Hill 2 made me process grief no medium, film, book, etc. ever has before. That's why SH2 holds so much love from me. Well, lucky you didn't get the in-water ending, Pirate Captain Jack.
No.
Or the Maria ending, which is the suckiest ending anyway.
So ending-wise, what are the conditions to get these endings? Because a lot of games have really obscure...
Actually pretty opaque.
Okay. To get the Leave ending... make sure you look at the picture of your wife a lot. Make sure to always make sure you're on full health. And make sure you listen to the closing monologue at the very end without running straight through the door at the end of the hallway. To get the in-water ending, make sure your health is low a lot. Run around without healing yourself up a lot. Look at the knife that Angela gives you a lot. Read the diary on the hospital roof. And to get the Maria ending, look after Maria. Make sure she doesn't get hurt. Check on her a few times when she's in the hospital room. And all of that.
Maria was getting fucked up in my playthrough last night. I was like, I found a way through the motel, and I turned around and she's just getting like fucking legged. I'm like, oh no, what's happening?
Oh, well, I won't be getting Maria ending. Thank God for that.
Jay, it's very opaque. And it's you don't know any of those things are happening. There's no like meter.
No, I like that. I really like that. To the point where like some of the things you've just described, I've done. And I'm like, oh, so that's going to potentially affect the ending if I keep doing things like that.
Yeah, and again, I'm not sure if they jostled with like the parameters at all in the remake.
Don't say.
They warned me about one of them.
There's also 3 bonus endings you can only get in a second playthrough: the Rebirth, the dog ending, and the UFO ending. Although the dog ending was only added for the special edition, the UFO ending was only added for the special edition. The dog ending is original.
Okay.
You probably know the dog ending if you know anything about Silent Hill 2.
Yes, I know the dog ending. Yeah. I don't know how you get it, but I know of it.
On the second playthrough, look for a doghouse. And then once you have the key from the doghouse, look for a locked door in the very last section of the hotel.
Okay.
All right. Tsunami Dusha gives $20 and with his signature move gives no comment.
A true doucher. Nothing but love for my true douche.
Alkengard gives $10 and says, is your love of Silent Hill 2 perhaps unfairly tinted by nostalgia glasses? Yes, it is, Alkengard. I'm quite partial to my first horror game, Amnesia the Dark Descent. Well, that's a pretty good game as well, Alkengard. That's a good game to be your favorite horror game. First time live up, you guys see you at the next E3.
Oh. Your nostalgia glasses on, like, I think your opinions on the original aren't incorrect based on nostalgia. I think they're right. Maybe your judgments of the sequel might be the thing that's heavily, going to be affected by nostalgia.
Oh, absolutely, yes. I'm saying that up front. That's my disclaimer.
Yeah.
If the Silent Hill series didn't exist,
okay,
what is the greatest horror game of all time?
I would be dead from suicide.
Oh no!
No bright points in my life.
You'd have used your own Asia.
The best horror game that's not Silent Hill 2. Okay.
Any Silent Hill. You can't pick any of the Silent Hills.
No Silent Hills.
Ooh. Franchise doesn't exist.
Spec Ops: The Line?
Yeah.
Arguably a horror game?
Yeah. Arguably a horror game, yeah.
Amnesia is probably up there.
Yeah, I have a hard time giving that crown to Resi 4, just because I love Resi 4 with all my heart, but it just doesn't feel like a capital H horror game.
It doesn't get to you the way a psychological horror game does.
Yeah.
It's action horror. It's very overt. It's a very good action horror game. Yeah. It is not a gets under your skin horror game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting under your skin, I made the mistake of reading the plot summary for a Serbian film the other day.
Oh, yeah. Don't read the plot summary for that. No, that's bad. They do bad things to a baby in that movie. Very bad things to a baby.
I know. to numerous babies.
Also, shout out to Serbia. Not shout out to the Serbian film, though. Serbian film, bad movie. Serbia itself, great.
You a big fan of Serbia?
Yeah, I know tons of stuff about it.
Oh, yeah. Nico Bellic, favorite GTA protagonist.
As in Serbian Special Forces. I
Your
believe
one Serbian fact is about a character that doesn't exist in real life.
I'm afraid so, yes. Although I also know it's related to how the First World War started.
No, I'm not like Yahtzee. You can have limited information on Serbia. Marty, you said you know multiple facts. Can you name another?
Was it in Serbia that Archduke Franz Ferdinand got assassinated, or was it that the assassin was Serbian? I can't remember.
I think the assassin
I believe it was in Sarajevo, in Bosnia.
Right.
Bosnia/Herzegovina. Boom. Serbia fact. That's not even a Serbian
shit, dude.
Oh, but the assassin was Serbian.
Gavrilo Princip, yeah.
Yeah.
One of history's most impactful folks.
I know. Figured as much. Well, you know, some people will say the First World War was going to happen sooner or later. That was just the spark that lit the fuse.
Mm-hmm.
People wanted to test out their weapons.
Should World War I facts be our next topic?
Yeah,
I don't have a ton of those, to be honest.
Are we all warheads? I'm partial to a little bit of war facts.
I like learning about war, but I don't know a ton about them.
I don't know if I'm a war buff. I'm a sort of a history buff.
Mm.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider myself a buff, but I enjoy it.
I'm just buff, just in general.
I mean,
yeah.
Well, 34
for a given value of buff.
Roasted.
Pixel Grip gives $10 and says, we all know Yahtzee would never recommend the Silent Hill 2 remake over the OG. My question is, would Yahtzee be less mad at it if the OG was readily available on modern consoles? Probably.
Yeah.
I'm less mad at the Dead Rising remake now that I know that you can just buy the original on Steam as well for like $10.
It makes you less mad? It would make me more mad. Like, why? Well, if I can play the original, why would I want a remake?
Make the original and the remake both freely available and let the audience make up their own mind.
Yeah. If the original isn't available, it feels like you're replacing or erasing history.
Yes. Please don't erase or replace, especially if you're just going to turn everything into Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
How about
Resident Evil 4 is a good example of a game that is available everywhere.
Yes. How about a bit of, variety?
Yeah.
Retro Guy 200 gives 150 Zaras. And says, Kingdom Come had clumsy combat that worked well, if you say so. Retro Guy 200. I remember it annoying the shit out of me, but never mind.
I feel like that's just first-person melee combat.
Yeah.
Well, you said it's improved in the second one, right, Jay? You could talk about
I've played the second at an event. I think it's markedly improved.
I've never liked first-person melee combat. It's the lack of visibility that gets me.
It's Skyrim. It's the swinging. Yeah. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
What other games have purposely bad combat to prove a point?
I'm fighting the edge not to just mention God of
Mirror's
War.
Edge.
Oh yeah, Mirror's Edge. That's a good one. Yeah.
Mirror's Edge.
You're supposed to just book it. That's the point.
Did you say God of War?
I meant to say Gears of War.
Oh, Gears of War.
But I said God of War. But honestly, really? I do genuinely believe out of the remakes, the worst part of those games is the gameplay. So,
or the new God of Wars, like 2018 and
the 2018 ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ryan Betts gives $5 and says, you've said before that Half-Life 1 and 2's plots are so disconnected that Half-Life 2 was likely made a sequel late in its dev. Does the same apply to Silent Hill 1 and 2? I'm not sure I'd say Silent Hill 2 was made a sequel late in development. I just think they were making whatever game they wanted to make, and they slapped the Half-Life IP onto it. And some characters that hopefully people would recognize. Silent Hill 2, I think it's Silent Hill 1 in spirit, in that it's exploring a spooky town with a lot of fog.
But it's not a sequel in the way that like Silent Hill 3 is a sequel to.
No, I mean both games are undeniably set in the same town.
Mm-hmm.
Is 3 a direct sequel to 2 or 1?
To 1.
It's complicated and it's a bit weird. It's a direct sequel to 1, but the map is basically copy pasted from Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
Fair?
I think it's just because they were both PS2 games, and so they were like, "Oh, we can turn around a sequel and
use this map again." Yeah, and it's the same city, right? So.
Yeah, but a big chunk of it takes place in like the
Silent Hill 1. Silent Hill 1 takes place on the north shore of the lake. Silent Hill 2 takes place on the south shore of the lake.
Right.
Has anyone ever made like a full map of like here's everything in Silent Hill of all the shit?
Oh, I'm sure they have. I think I've seen one. I think they include the Downpour map as well, which is on the east shore of Toluca Lake.
I could draw up some satellite photos for you. It's just fucking grey.
Not a ton of hills either. Surprisingly,
funny that.
lack of hills.
And quite noisy with wind.
Yeah. Big lake. You think they call it Silent Lake?
Yeah, they're not going to call it Noisy Hill.
There is a lot of wind. There's this when you first get to the apartment building. There's a ton of wind in the room.
I know.
Yeah, I got lost in that wind.
That wasn't in the original, was it? All that wind?
No, it was just fog and eerie stillness.
Yeah, when the wind came, I was like, "Shit! I better get to this fucking apartment building."
I feel like they fucked that bit up from a design perspective because you get the key for the apartment building.
Yes, and then they start throwing monsters at you, and it gets all really windy.
And I didn't notice what I picked up because monsters came, so I immediately put it away and then just started running. And monsters were just constantly coming at me, so I was like, "Oh, this must be like an escape sequence." So I'm running to the next place. But no, I was just running around the city.
Yes. It's different and therefore worse.
You know what?
That wasn't good.
You know what Silent Hill does great? Maps. It's map with you put little X's and being like, well, this door is garbage, and this has got a circle. This might be something neat here.
And remind me that's in the original.
Yes. When you find a block that you permanently can't get past, James just helpfully scribbles out the route on the map.
I love it.
That's fine.
If he does a solid line, it's a locked door he will be able to open later. But if he scribbles it out, he will never be able to open it.
Yeah, because I stopped playing last night while I was mid in the apartments.
Ooh, dangerous.
And I was worried that I would come back and just have no idea where to go.
I always have to like start at the end or beginning of a place. Yeah,
I know what I'm doing. It was really, really satisfying. And I was worried as well that to begin with, I thought the game was just, I'm going to walk around this place, going in every room and picking up everything I can until I have stuff to do the puzzle. And I was like, that's not great. But there's a satisfaction of completely clearing an environment and like completely doing it and then circling back.
Yeah, and it's kind of got the Dark Souls Metroidvania thing of like, now I've kicked down a fire escape and I can easily get back to the first floor instead of going all the way around.
It's good.
Raphael Sampaio gives $5 and says, the notion of you walking into your own downfall also applies to Spec Ops The Line, funnily enough. Maybe cover it as well one day. Absolutely. Very similar themes. You do it to yourself, badow, and that's what really hurts.
Yeah. We did, for its 10th anniversary a year or two ago, we did a big old episode on it.
That's my favourite Radiohead song, incidentally. Just, it's a banger.
I don't think I've heard that one.
I like that Radiohead.
It's the one with the music video with the guy lying on the pavement who refuses to get up.
Oh, okay. Well, I know of that video. I don't think maybe I'll know it if I hear it.
Do I like it more than Creep? Ooh, I think I do. I think I like Just more than Creep.
Shit.
And I like Creep a lot.
Creep's a good song.
Matt Draft gives $5 and says, I hate how the mannequins jump scare you and get in a cheap shot. Feels like Five Nights at Maria's. Yeah, that's what I said.
Things keep throwing up on me in that game too.
Oh, another thing that kind of pissed me off in that very same room was where you look at the mannequin wearing Mary's clothes and James goes, these clothes. He never did that. He never did that in the original. It was just went uncommented on.
Oh my God! What if you just went in? What if you went into the game? The only thing you modded was at that point you just have Borat going, "My wife,
my wife." I want to mod that game that every time there's a reference to your wife, it's like my wife.
I want someone to mod that and then upload that torrent. So that is everyone who pirates the game is like, it's really weird that James throws his voice every time he references his wife.
My wife,
my wife.
Peter gives $4.99 and gives then trying to muscle in on Tsunami Douche's shtick.
Oh, classic Peter.
And then Ben Crooked gives $5 and says, because of Silent Hill 2 Remake's new gameplay, I was too mentally preoccupied with looking for tins of beans to pay attention to the environment itself. Well, if you like beans that much. Peter gives $4.99 and says, I'm glad they at least nailed the fog in the remake. Don't try to nail fog, it's very hard.
Apart from one detail, for anyone who hasn't played it yet and you're going to start it, I'm going to ruin something for you. the beginning where the fog first comes in as you're entering Silent Hill and you're walking up. There are these water pipes on the wall that are spewing water out, and they're splashing. But the splash asset that they have is not occluded by fog, so you can see it through the fog as like a little sparkle.
I noticed that, and I kept thinking it was something to pick up, and I'd be like, "Oh, there's gonna be a shiny to pick up," and I get closer, and I'm like, "No, that's just."
And then you see multiple of them because they've reused the asset over and over, and I'm like, man,
whoops, game sucks. Better look next time, Bloober team.
You know what it does have? It has good muddy footprints.
Agreed.
I was looking down at my footprints when I was going through that.
Great details as well. The way the environment, like everything flows and moves and jostles and is animated. Like the environment in this game is absolutely stunning. Like it's extremely well done. Also the character animations, a lot of the
yeah, you interrupted the super chat and I'm waiting to read out the rest of it.
I thought the super chat was done.
I thought
sorry. Just finishing it. As a massive fan of MGS, I understand Yahtzee's apprehension toward remakes. There we go.
So anyways, the animation, I'm assuming the cutscenes were motion capped because there's a lot of small, subtle movement characters make during dialogue that I think go a really long way.
Like a lot of lips, and stuff. Yeah, really well done.
Yeah, the knife scene with the mirror, I thought was incredibly well done in the remake.
Okay, Gun gives 100 RSDs and says ZP Hat Guy Rule 34. Wait, this isn't Google.
No. Oh no, Eric, what have you done?
He had that ready. He had that waiting.
Always has it ready.
Well, that's not the ZP Hat Guy. That's the FR Hat Guy.
Oh my god,
the frat guy.
Dr. Theo gives $5. Says, have any of you guys played Organ Quarter? Basically SH in VR, along with the manual map system where you have to add the icons yourself to your liking. No, I haven't.
I like that.
VR seems too spooky.
Well, no such thing as too spooky in my view.
I also don't have VR, so.
I like horror in VR as long as it's not jump scaring me. I don't like knowing a jump scare is coming in VR. It's that apprehension I was talking about, right? You don't want to go through into the next room because you're like, I don't want to get jump scared. I don't want this to happen. I like slow atmospheric horror in VR. I love the idea of adding all of your map markers yourself. That sounds great.
Yeah,
like that's a game in itself.
Yeah. I was thought of making like a detective game, and my thought was to have the option for the game to like add the clues to your notebook automatically, or to get you to enter the clues manually when you find them. Because I feel like some people appreciate, the action of taking notes of things.
Yeah, I do. I do it for the puzzles in Silent Hill 2. I was just like, if I could take down a note, the game would tell me, but I'd write it myself, and then or take pictures of things, just because I love that. It was one of the first things we ever spoke about, Marty, on the first stream we were ever on together. We were talking about like games making you write down stuff, and I was kind of against it back then, but I've really come around to it.
Look at
that. I remember writing down notes the first time I played through Myst in a little notebook that came included with the Myst Special Edition.
I've done that, but I always play like Myst or Myst Likes with a friend, and they write all the notes for us. And there's like a real nice, like, they're like my side detective, and we're doing it together. It's always really, really nice.
I love that.
Hjorth87 gives 20 Danish kroner and says, tried out Tactical Breach Wizards yet? Yeah, didn't really grab me, if I'm honest. Hjorth87.
Yeah.
I'm not really a think 3 steps ahead kind of guy.
Yeah. It seems like everyone who is really enjoys it, though. So
yeah.
Seems like by all accounts.
I mean, I like XCOM, but that's more sort of push forward and react to things as they happen situation. Bucket List, member for 9 months in Tiptower. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bucket List.
Matt Draft gives $5 and says, I hate the jump scare mannequin's cheap shot. Makes the game feel like Five Nights at Maria's at time. Hey, wait a minute. Didn't we already have that super chat?
Yeah.
Someone pressed the button too many times.
You know what? If you want to keep giving us $5, you keep saying it.
No, that's just a hint at how you euthanized your wife. Like
those.
Oh, deja vu.
Oh, I have.
Alex Armstrong, AXA, gives $2 and says, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 multi-sequel baited, Marty.
That's right. It ended with, there was more Rhino.
Yeah.
Gwen Stacy was dead. I don't remember anything else from the ending of that movie.
Didn't they do? Oh no, they also did that walk by where they showed vultures, like all of the Sinister Six.
Oh yeah, like their costumes
like
or whatever. Yeah,
in the room.
A superb owner gives $2. Says dollars for Eric to make Marty SFW. Oops, all legs. Smiley face.
Excuse me. Look at that little metaphor.
You're Bayonetta legs. Oh my god.
I think they're number one of the votes for King.
I feel left out. You guys have both got Rule 34 not safe for work donos, and I don't have one.
Well, do you want something to happen to Ludo? Because I certainly don't.
No, I take that back. Nobody donate with anything now.
Oh no.
As a superb owner member for 10 months in tip jar as well. Thank you very much. Jumbly Wobbly gives $5. It says, Yahtzee being passionate about a game, priceless. Okay, have $5. No Maria midriff, by the way. Unforgivable. What? I mean, that's like taking the sexy bits out of Dead Rising.
Yeah, but like, no, wasn't that costume just modeled after Christina Aguilera outfit? Where's the
I think so, yeah.
What?
And she's supposed to be
original costume.
Sexual.
The original costume is modeled after directly modeled after a Christina Aguilera outfit. It is referenced in a goof in the remake.
Yeah, and Maria is supposed to be an overtly sexual character, so I don't know why they take the midriff out. I mean, James Sunderland's outfit is like James Sunderland's outfit is, you know, true to the original. To quite a, you know,
good looking coat. Let me say, real nice looking coat.
Wait a second. Yeah. Maria in the original has the tattoo on her midriff, but they've removed the midriff, so now they've put it on her breast.
Yeah, tattoos moving. It's a butterfly. Butterflies can move.
Oh. Well, she needs the tattoo on her breast when she needs to check how much health her butterfly has.
Yeah. Think about it.
That was a Jurassic Park Trespasser reference.
That was great.
I'm glad you all picked up on that.
That was wonderful.
Hjort87 gives 50 Danish kroner and says, IWW2, a Norwegian pre-WW1 fort, managed to sink a German cruiser in the Oslo fjord, delaying the whole invasion so the king and government could flee to UK.
Hashtag World War II facts.
That's interesting.
Can we have a whole stream where the super chats are just fun facts? People like, what's your best?
Let's do fun fact stream. That sounds great.
What's the best fun fact?
We can bring some fun facts as well, and then we can go and share the chats ones.
Okay.
The fun fact I always fall back on when called for a fun fact in a pinch is that the voice actor for the sniper in Team Fortress 2 is married to the voice actor for the announcer in Team Fortress 2.
That's a good one.
My go-to is always, did you know peanuts aren't nuts?
Get the fuck out of here.
No, they're legumes. I knew
that. A legume, not a nut?
Related to the pea.
Yeah, more closely related to a pea, hence the term peanut.
And they grow underground.
Did you know there's no such thing as a fish as well? I learned this from QI.
Yeah, we made it up as a general term, right?
There's no such thing as a fish?
Yeah. I mean, there's no biological meaning for fish. Because there are fish. There are species of fish that are more closely related to, say, camels than they are to other species of fish.
Incredible.
Save your fun facts, chat. Don't donate with those.
Wait, you both got one, so I get one. Okay. The word taser is an acronym for Thomas A. Swift's electric rifle.
Whoa!
Little taser fun fact for you guys.
Not because it tases you. Or do we say things tase you because of that?
Thanks, Tommy Swift. I think that's why tased comes from taser, which is Thomas A. Swift's electric rifle. Yeah. Tommy Swift. All right, save it for the next fun fact.
Okay. Tsunami Dusha gives $10 and actually says something. Jesus. Greetings, gentlemen. I've been through several hours of SH2 so far, and the camera is my largest complaint. I can see forgetting this game in a month because it's visually similar to other horror titles.
Oh. The Tsunami Dusha had spoken. The story will burrow into you, though.
It'll be people who've never played the game before experiencing the story for the first time that will be maintaining the remake's popularity, I assume.
Yeah.
See how they feel about
curiosity.
Yeah. Jules Rowe, member for 7 months in tip jar. Thank you very much. Gay Daddy Bear 2 gives $10 and says, just throwing in my comment. about Metaphor. I appreciated the demo too much.
No such thing as too much.
My Metaphor Refantasia review will be coming out next week, and my Silent Hill 2 remake review will be coming out the week after that.
Yeah, and we should have sooner than that, we should have a topical punch that Yahtzee, myself, and Nick recorded.
Yes. For the second time in a row, I got drafted to do Tropical Punch because I was literally the only other person the host could talk to about the subject.
Yeah, game good. Come on Friday. Thumbs up.
Yes, I recommend it if you're a Persona fan, but just bear in mind that there isn't any perving on the girls in bathhouses this time.
Sadly.
Cool, I'll play it then.
Sovereign gives kind of wish there was perving on the girls in the bath.
Kind of missed the perving a little bit.
I roll my eyes at that
shit. Because the girls are actually of age in this game. They're adults who could theoretically consent.
Man.
Although the main character's a teenager, as everyone keeps saying.
No, I don't think he's a teen. He's 56,
Yahtzee.
He's absolutely a teenager, because he's like the childhood friend of the prince, right? Yeah. And the prince was put into a coma at the age of 6, and it's been 10 years since then. So you're like 16 at most.
Oh, no.
And every other character in the game talks about how young you are.
I wouldn't elect a 16-year-old as king. I don't think that's too young.
He's the rightful prince, or at least he's working on behalf of the rightful prince.
He does have some good ideas, though. People really like him.
Yeah.
How does he have ideas? What, he's in a coma?
He's going to model society on a fantasy novel.
Coma. I don't know anything about Coma Boy. I'm not voting for Coma Boy. I'm voting for Coma Boy's friend.
You don't vote for the king.
You don't vote. You don't vote for kings.
You don't vote for president either. Oh, sir.
Oh, shit.
Are we going to quote this entire scene from Monty Python and the Holy Grail? Oh, well, I didn't vote for you. You don't vote for kings. Well, how do you become king, then? Look, strange women in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a system of government. Supreme executive power must come from a mandate from the masses, not some farcical aquatic ceremony.
Between Monty Python and Silent Hill 2, a big day for topics of things Yahtzee can quote.
There you go. Well, that's asked me to quote Red Dwarf as well.
Where's the Red Dwarf super
the
chat?
Triple threat. Sovereign gives €5. He does say, but these clothes in the OG, if you interact with the mannequin after you get the flashlight, sorry, not sorry.
Wow.
Well, I didn't interact with the mannequin because they didn't have fucking condescending contextual button prompts over everything in the original.
You can turn those off in the remake.
Ah, fuck you. Stick them up your bum, Silent Hill.
Those things lighting up don't show up in the original when you get close.
No, that was like a contextual button prompts are a relatively recent invention. In fact, I want to say Resident Evil 4 kind of invented them.
So when you walk up to an item,
are both good.
That you can pick up, let's say a key.
Yeah.
Is it just lit and modeled in a way so it's very obvious, or is there? Do they?
It sparkles a little bit.
Basically,
right?
They sparkle.
Not really. You basically just walk around like pressing U's on everything, waiting to see if you can find something to interact with.
It's not good.
That sounds worse.
Some changes are better.
That's how we liked it back in my day.
You had to walk uphill to school both ways.
Jules Rowe gives €2 and says, a quote from Silent Hill 3. It's bread.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, when you're walking through the bakery, you can click on something and she says
she's like, well, I don't know what more you wanted me to say, player.
There hasn't been a lot of that in Silent Hill 2, a lot of like James describing things. It's just a lot of notes and written stuff for you to read.
Yeah, you don't have his like internal monologue with like a little...
Which I welcome.
Yeah.
There's an Easter egg in one of my original adventure games. Because I was like sick of the practice of amateur adventure games where if you use the look command on a door, it just says it's a door. And that was one of my like things that really pissed me off. So I was like, I can see it's a fucking door. I wanted more information. So in my game, if the first time you do that, it says it's a door. But if you keep looking at doors, the main character gets more and more annoyed and sarcastic. It says, it's a large rectangular wooden object used to deter thieves.
Yeah, I love it.
I like that.
Halkengard gives $10 and says, on the topic of really good horror games, a sequel to Alien Isolation was just announced to be in development earlier today. I can't wait for the E3 trailer. I mean, I like Alien Isolation, but I really wish they'd give it a rest with the fucking Alien IP, to be honest with you.
I missed that. Did they just say they're remaking it?
No, they're making a sequel. An actual honest-to-God sequel.
I hope it's shorter.
Yeah, the original it absolutely is not going to be shorter, because that's how games are made these days, in the AAA space.
It doesn't need to be longer. Please don't be long. Be shorter. Be like 7 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, they announced it today was the 10th anniversary of Isolation. That's why they announced it today.
The Alien canon is dumb and fucked. Just like my wife. No, I didn't say that.
Jesus!
My wife?
Nice.
As I said, as I was saying more.
I was trying to think of something like people have sex with, and all I could think of was my wife.
Wait, Marty, check this out. My wife. I tried to get the
xenomorph.
The Fungus Finder gives $2 and says, so when's the Silent Hill 2 remake releasing? It never ends.
Yeah.
Maybe when they make the VR edition.
Yeah.
It is funny that we're talking about the game, even though it's available only if you buy the fancy edition. Like, it's not available till tomorrow for everyone else.
It's out today, isn't it?
No, it's out tomorrow.
No, it's tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
The early access was 48 hours, or tonight, I guess at midnight it's out.
Huh. Yeah. Because I noticed on the Silent Hill 2 Steam page, it said becoming available on October 7th.
Oh, is this 8th for me, but that must be midnight.
Maybe they mean, like it'll unlock at midnight.
On it might be midnight East Coast, and so 9 p.m. by you.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Gay Daddy Bear 2 gives $5 and says, I know Yahtzee isn't much for movies, but I'd love to hear him summarize Megalopolis if he watched it. Darren's summary was already wild. All I know is that it's apparently really bad.
But it's fascinatingly bad. Yeah, it is train-wreckingly bad. Megalopolis, the new Francis Ford Coppola movie, as the same man who did Apocalypse Now, which we mentioned earlier.
This is what happens when you give them too much free reign, I suppose. Like creative auteurs who've gotten too old and out of touch.
Hell yeah. Go nuts.
Yeah, and have gone nuts, apparently.
Yep.
Matt Draft gives $5 and says, it is surprising more people don't abuse super chats to make people say silly things like, I love waffles, yum, yum, yum. What's silly about that, Matt Draft? I do love waffles, and might conceivably say, yum, 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 while eating some.
Okay, rank them. Waffles, French toast, pancakes, crepes.
Don't make me choose.
Gun to your head.
Pancakes,
waffles, French toast, crepes.
Pancakes, then French toast, then waffles, then crepes.
Yeah, crepes are at the bottom.
French toast, pancakes, waffles, crepes.
I think that's mine too. Good.
Well,
good French toast is
sublime.
All right. Fuck, marry, kill. No.
Fungus
Finder gives $5 and says, peanuts do start above ground, like the flower appears above ground, but once it's pollinated, it falls to the ground and then grows down underground. What an interesting fun fact about peanuts.
More peanut legumed.
Fungus Finder gives $5 and says, was James snuffing her out like the scene in It's Always Sunny where Dennis imagines suffocating his nurse stroke weather person to I'm Walking on Sunshine? I wouldn't know. I've never seen that.
I believe that shot is a reference to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, that's the other famous smothering scene, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, Marsh, member for 7 months in the Green Gang, says, if there's Alien Isolation 2, will KC play it?
I hope so.
But you'd have to ask him. I don't know if that's referencing something.
I think Casey got spooked out during Alien Isolation 1, I want to say. Back in the old days.
Well, that was the idea.
He's not a big horror guy. Not a big horror guy.
What a pussy. Which is not a sexist. It's not a sexist term. It's short for pusillanimous.
Was that the name of the Metal Gear in Phantom Pain?
No, it wasn't.
That was
the name of the guy who created the taser.
For anyone who's played
What does that mean, Yachts? What does pusillanimous mean?
It means cowardly. I mean, that's.
Oh, well, why couldn't we just use cowardly because it has less syllables?
Well, because we can say pussy. I've heard like people complain that pussy is some kind of gendered term because it implies that women are cowardly. It's not. It's short for pusillanimous. Look it up.
I'm pretty sure it's become a gendered term.
It's like getting annoyed when people say niggardly.
You could just use other words.
But it's completely unrelated to the slur.
Yeah, but words evolve. I thank you for Snowmedusa. Thanks you for getting Sahelanthropus.
Does the slur have an A? Does the slur end with a D? No, it does not. It is a different word.
It's very easy. I'm almost 40, and it's just very easy for me not to use the word. It's
like getting offended because I called someone a count because it's one letter away from a very naughty word indeed. I mean, that's one letter. That's one letter away. Niggard is like 2 letters away.
Bring the super chat so we can leave. You fucking dolt.
It's gonna get clipped so fast.
What?
You're an idiot. Keep reading the super chats.
I'm not an idiot. I know big words like pusillanimous.
Pusillanimous.
Sussy 2000 gives €2 and says, someone's sleeping on the couch tonight. I meant it all in fun. I love you very much, my dear. Gay Daddy Bear 2 gives $5 and says, just got to the girls in the bathhouse comment. Never been my thing, if my handle is any indication. The boys are always twinks too, even Kanji. Yeah. Everyone's either a twink or a waifu. That's anime.
Kanji's big and buff.
Or there's a dude who's like 30 years old and talks like he's an elderly person.
What kind of a big buff guy, anime guy is it? Do they have big hair or small head? Because there's only 2 variants.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 kinds.
Kanji's like supposed to be the youngest guy in the party, isn't he? He's like 15. 4.
Oh yeah, because him and Chie, I think, are a year young, or him and Rise are a year younger in the same grade.
Yeah, they're in the year below. They're first years. But he's supposed to be like the big buff guy.
He seems like he's been held back, though. He seems a little older. He just seems sure. He's all lanky.
People are always dumb. That's the trope.
Think about it.
What is this weird Japanese trope where the older sibling is somehow the smallest? This Metaphor does this. One Punch Man does this.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's like a fetish thing. Like someone who's really into dog boys playing Metaphor even Fantasia goes, oh god, the oldest and most wisest and worldliest dog boy is actually the small Twinkie one. Oomph.
What was that noise?
He said it wasn't horny.
Well, it's not horny. He's just a small dog boy.
It's horny if you're into dog boys, I suppose.
It's not horny though. It's just if you're so horny that you see a dog boy and you're like, oh, I'm horny. Like that's on you. That's not on the art.
Hey, Marty, did you notice the very subtle joke that one of the dog boys wears a houndstooth fabric jacket?
I did not. That's pretty good. I like their fashion. I like their fashion a lot.
Yeah.
Dog boys look great. Shout out to dog boys. They're just regular boys, but they got like dog ears. Everyone in Metaphor is like a regular human, but they got some animal thing. They got maybe little horns, they got wings.
They got one of the standard anime non-human characteristics, yes.
Yeah, and it's not like overtly like furry-ish or anything. It's just like small things. Well, and they represent different races, and that's where the prejudice in the society.
Yeah, besides the one species that's a cute bat.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Bats are cool.
Yeah, very cool bat. And then the one they're racist against because they got different colored eyes. I'm like, what? Seems weird.
It wasn't the different colored eyes thing, was it? It was because he had normal ears and no horns.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
I think the different colored eyes thing was just the main character.
Gotcha.
Anyway, Palash T. Oh no, missed one.
James Morgan, I think.
James Morgan gives $4.99 and says, not fun fact, human spines never evolved to be suited for us being bipeds, which is why so many people have back problems. Evolution is lazy. Yeah, I get back problems. But that's because I'm so very tall and top heavy.
You need to get a new mattress.
It doesn't help.
All right. I tried.
I had back problems until I got this chair, and not to endorse a very expensive chair company, but my Secret Labs chair literally solved all of my back problems. Lumbar support is the fucking one.
Yeah, I bought a very expensive office chair for my office, and it does the job. Thank you very much.
100%.
I was on medically prescribed painkillers as a teenager because I was growing up so big and the growing pains were so bad.
Wow, really? That's fascinating.
Yeah. Yes. So
it sounded like sarcasm. I'm genuinely fascinated by that.
It ain't no
growing pains can be that intense that you need.
Yes. It ain't no picnic being really tall.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we pull the birds, but then, all the ATMs are designed so you have to basically limbo dance to use it.
Well, you only pull the birds because you can reach for them out of the sky, you fuck.
Well, mixing our metaphors a bit there, I fear.
I liked it.
Anyway, Palash T gives 499. It says, you all should thank me for funding Metropolis by visiting Coppola's winery up in Napa Valley and buying his wine.
I can't believe he sold his winery to fund that movie.
Oh, God, don't tell me he did that.
It's so sad.
That is very sad
indeed.
indeed.
Dracula too.
Just make more Dracula. Bring Keanu Reeves back. People love him now.
Dracula, still dead, not particularly loving it.
Is that an actual sign? Welcome to this world-famous wine-growing region.
Well, the Napa Valley is a very famous wine-growing region.
It should be in Comic Sans.
That's a fucking horrible sign. That looks like the remake of Silent Hill 2.
Graphic design is my passion.
Yeah.
There you go. Jumbly Wobbly gives $5 and says, game pitch, Silent Hill 2 in the style of the comedy series Bottom. Let's quote Bottom.
Oh, I love Bottom.
Yeah. Well, all the smacking people about with the big stick with a nail in it would fit in.
Yeah, like the hitting people with a frying pan and Rick Mail farting is like a...
Yes.
just half of the quotes.
This has been our weekly our weekly segue into a show that I'm not sure exists.
Watch Bottom. It's so funny.
No, I'm too bad.
Yes.
I'm still finishing top.
It's two masterful physical comedians at the top of their game.
Yeah.
Smacking the shit out of each other with sticks.
Yeah.
Look how small the JPEG is, though. I don't want to watch a show that looks that small.
Yes.
I believe you also missed Humane Shields. Don't know, just beforehand.
Shit. Humane Shield gives $1.99 and says, what's your favorite Terry Gilliam directed movie? Ooh.
Brazil.
Probably one of the Monty Python films.
Yeah.
I love Time Bandits.
Time Bandits, Brazil, Fear and Loathing, 12 Monkeys. A lot of good movies early in his career.
I'd probably go with Time Bandits as well.
Yeah.
Mr. Arms and Legs gives $5 Canadian and says, have you all been following along the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake? Is that still on the cards now Ubisoft is going to ship?
I have insider information on this that I cannot utter.
Oh, did you get it from the insider that we all know?
No. A completely different person.
Oh,
it's pretty cool. Ubisoft is in trouble with a lot of their projects, and they're possibly getting bought out. And
not really a spoiler at this point.
Yeah, but we'll see if it ever comes out.
There's a lot riding on Assassin's Creed Shadows being good, and let's face it, it won't be.
Yeah,
that's true.
No, it might be good.
No, it won't. You don't believe
Schrodinger's quality. I want to believe. Like Mulder in the X-Files.
You got to be real.
Expect the worst, be pleasantly surprised. That's my motto.
No. Set a low bar and then whatever. That's my motto.
And then get disappointed. Yes.
Set a low bar and then whatever.
Over and over again.
Play something else.
Fungus Find.
It's coming out. First off, it's coming out on Valentine's Day. If the game's bad, just go kiss someone.
That's not an option for everyone. We're not all a hunk like you, Marty.
No, we all can't be buff boys.
Yes, we can't all pull the birds either. I was trying to think of a bottom quote to satisfy that super chat.
I've been trying to think of one as well, and I can't.
One something came to mind. The one that's just came to mind is Drambuie. Yeah, you got to put something in for the birds, haven't you?
I'm gonna watch Bottom after this. I love Bottom so much.
Yeah. Fungus Finder gives $2 and says, "UNF stands for you need fucking, Marty."
What? Roasted.
Is that Hunky Marty?
No, please don't.
Oh god, that was like an old picture of me. Eric, you just trolling, like crawling the internet for old pictures of me?
Always.
Yeah.
That's all Eric does, I think.
Look at me at the club, bottle service.
Poor.
It's my Pinterest profile picture. I don't think I have a Pinterest account. That seems like a lie.
Well, that picture begs to differ. He's showing your Pinterest off.
I got doxxed.
My Pinterest.
Okay. Hey, Daddy Bear.
What the fun we have.
Mm-hmm.
Gay Daddy Bear 2 gives $5 and says, anecdotally, it's always the younger siblings who are bigger stroke taller where I grew up, especially in sport families. Yeah, I was the younger sibling, and I grew up taller than my older brother.
My younger siblings are taller than me as well.
Not by a dog boy degree.
I like measuring everything in dog boy agrees.
I just like that there's two dog boys in metaphor who speak like the Beatles.
Yeah. Every time I heard them, I kept thinking of you talking about Liverpudlian accents.
I think it's a point in metaphor's favor that for a lot of our time with the dog boys, I wasn't sure if they were going to be an upcoming boss fight or if they were going to be the next party member. It could have gone either way for a big part.
If a character has a character, if they have a character portrait when they talk, I'm like, ooh,
yeah.
Are you going to be in my party? Are you going to become a friend, or am I going to try to kill you?
But then the dog boys started doing started having scenes where they're obviously casting doubt on what they're doing. So I was like, okay, yeah, party member. One of them's going to die tragically. The other one's the party member. Thank you, metaphor. I figured you out.
Stop spoiling things for people, Yahtzee.
That was just what I'm just saying that's what I predicted would happen. I didn't say if my prediction was correct.
If a week ago I started doing this, you'd have shut me up right away. You Von Drook.
Anyway. Fungus Finder gives, damn it. Mr. Arms and Legs gives $5 Canadian and says, darn, now I have to buy AC Shadows so the Pop SOT remake doesn't get cancelled. I don't want a fucking remake of Sands of Time. The original's fine. Let's not go through this again.
Fine. Also, there aren't. You could buy a ton of copies of Assassin's Creed, and Prince of Persia still might not come out. I don't think those are a one-to-one comparison.
Knowing how much that game has changed hands, it's probably not coming out.
Yeah,
you can still buy Sands of Time on Steam, can't you?
Yep, I did. It was one of the first videos I ever did.
Yeah, you might have trouble running it in this day and age, but it's there. Just go to PC Gaming Wiki and figure it out.
No, it runs straight off of Steam.
There you go.
On your computer, I'm sure.
So, but my computer isn't built for running like GOG games. Like
I know, but I always think old PC games are sort of a toss-up. You know,
it's like a dice roll.
Yeah. Anyway, Fungus Finder gives $2 and says, "You ever drink Baileys from a shoe?" Which I believe
I know that one. Old Greg.
Yeah, it's a Mighty Boosh.
That is a Mighty Boosh reference from Old Greg. Yeah.
Well, how very nice.
Is that also a reference, or do you just keep saying well?
I seem to remember it being a reference to something. I can't remember what. Monty Python, maybe? Anyway, Double Finger gives €5 and says, fun fact, dragonflies are possibly the most effective predators in the animal kingdom with a capture rate of 96%. Nature's perfect killers. Well, there you go. How interesting.
Nature's perfect killers.
Well, it sounds like whatever dragonfly's most popular prey is need to pull their finger out.
I think it's water boatman.
Well, obviously, if you're just going to laze around on the surface of a pond all day.
Marty's like putting his eyebrows up like he doesn't know what a water boatman is.
War boatman? Like a
water boatman. He's doing the glottal stop that us English tend to do.
Sorry. They're tiny little like I guess they kind of look like mosquitoes that kind of would use their legs spread out to stand on the water.
Yeah, okay, yeah, just like bugs that hover upon the.
They don't hover; they stand on it. They like
yeah. Pond skaters. Yeah. You know what a pond skater is?
I don't know it by name, but I think I know it.
I will send you an amazing video by Matt Berry who talks about universities and water boatmen, and it is one of the funniest videos I've ever watched in my life. I'll send that.
Matt Berry, who's also in the Mighty Boosh. Gosh, it all comes back around.
Da-na-na-na.
Well, that was last the super chats. A fun fact about dragonflies. Oh shit, another one came up. Snake in the Garden gives €2 and says, everyone please recommend a book you've enjoyed lately. I'm reading The Nutmeg of Consolation at the moment, which is like the 15 millionth Aubrey Maturin book. And yeah, it's fine.
I've got to get mine. Marty's getting his, I'm getting mine.
If you like my books, have you tried We'll Leave the Galaxy for Good? I hear that one's good.
I just got a book that's all about video game maps. Oh my god, I have Berserker Volume 1 on there too.
Oh my god! Well, I have all of them.
Oh, I have one. Berserk.
Read Berserk.
Berserk is incredible. I got this book that's just all about video game maps. Just a bunch of maps. Shows the maps. Talks about the creation of the maps. Interviews with the people who made the maps. All about Super Nintendo maps. Let me tell you. It's been great.
Well,
also smells great. Smells great.
And then Matt Drafk is $2 says favorite Terry Pratchett book. I don't know. Interesting times, like I keep saying. Piss off. Anyone else?
Is the name of the book piss off? I've never read a Terry Pratchett book. I don't read books by people named Terry. I have a friend named Terry, so I don't like reading books by people who share a name.
One of my middle names is Terry, so technically you've...
So a couple friends, a couple Terrys in my life.
My middle name's Richard.
I have two. My middle names are Roger Terrence, which are grim, but they're both my grandfathers.
You're a Roger... Wait, your full name is Roger Terry?
Tezzers, Reed.
Roger Terry.
And ironically, middle name is Kant.
Isn't that what Freddie Mercury shouts in the middle of the Invisible Man? Roger Terry!
Roger Terry! You'll be born soon.
Pixel Grip gives $5. Says, fun fact, when Viggo Mortensen kicked a helmet in Lord of the Rings 2 Towers, he broke his toe and is screaming that scene is genuine. Everyone knows that fun fact. Pixel Grip.
Viggo Morgenstein.
Vig Titties. Freddie Mercury shouts that as well.
I thought you were calling Viggo Mortensen Vig Titties.
I am. I'm not saying Big Titties.
Big Titties.
I'm calling him Big Titties.
I don't know how thin he is these days.
We gotta get out of here. Why are we still here?
Fungus Finder gives another $2 and says, what's the longest answer you can give to a question? I'll tell you tomorrow, Fungus Finder.
Oh, that's a good one. Fucking buried him. Now I'm gonna block everyone.
I'm really hungry and I want my lunch. Bye-bye, everyone. Don't forget to watch Fully Ramblematic this week. It will be on the subject of The Plucky Squire, because I needed more time to get my Metaphori Fantasio playthrough done. And then Silent Hill 2 will be in 3 weeks after Metaphor. I've also got a Semi-Ramblematic dropping this week, and there's also the usual Adventures 9 on Saturday, and Yahtzee Tries on Wednesday afternoon, and that's all of my stuff, I think. Over to you guys to plug your stuff.
Fuck it. Design Delve just came out. Watch that shit. Streams are happening this week. I'm on quite a few. We're doing,
I believe, at noon on Thursday. You're gonna start your Resi
7. Yeah, I've never played.
So same time as this, but on Thursday.
Yeah, never played 7. So we're gonna do a bunch of Resident Evil 7 streams this month. So if you guys want to see me get spooked and probably quite annoyed at some puzzles, stop by. Love to see you there. And then Dev Heads this Friday. It's going to be good fun.
Excellent.
Over to you, Mike.
Later today, Hidden Gems at the normal 6 p.m. time. The crew is going to be playing Zoochosis, which is like a new indie horror game about scary animals that have mutated.
Game.
Okay. I assume that was like a mental condition you get from going to zoos too much.
Hanging out too much at the zoos. Yeah. You breathe in zoo fumes too much and you get zoochosis. The normal streams Wednesday, Yahtzee Tries, Firelink. We'll have Jay playing Resi 7 on Thursday. Casey and I are going to be starting Metroid Prime on Thursday. Maybe a cheeky little second Friday stream. And then, like we mentioned before, Yahtzee and I's our convo on Metaphor Fantasio will probably be up early this week as well.
Oh, yes. In fact, the editors just dropped that in the Slack for us to look at. So we'll go and look at that.
Doggy.
And we'll talk to you all later. Bye.
Goodbye, dog boys, dog girls.
Bye, buggers.
Goodbye, dogettes.